and she gave me a little phrase and stuff. So I'll be practicing that. Maybe I'll try this on you guys and see if that resonate with you guys. Because she said, like, as soon as I said that, she was like, she felt this light coming like through her crown and like kind of like wrapped her kind of in a blanket and stuff. So, but she said like, you should buy a crystal singing bowl with it. So I've been looking at that, and then I didn't know they were that expensive. So I'm gonna have to do some research on that and then see what I can find. But I'd like to maybe mix both and then see what we can come up with. So yeah. So on that, I'd like to invite Lynn.
Thank you, Pascal. That is really, really interesting. And I've been tempted to do the same myself. And then recently, I read something that put a pause in it. I am really interested in, what is your intention for all that, Pascal?
I don't know yet. I really don't know yet. Like I just got to process this information.
So what was your intention with requesting the reading of your past lives?
Because I didn't really understand myself. I got lost, like, because I feel like I'm so different than the rest of my family, and I really didn't understand why. And really what she said, you're here to, you choose this family to awaken the other members. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense why I'm always like, I'm always trying to push it. But now, like, I just kind of took a step back and really I plant my seeds and then like I'm just let it grow, maybe water them once in a while and see what happens. So yeah, like the reason why I went, like I was interested in that, it's really like to know myself better at a deeper level. So,
and what's the intention of that?
So I can serve myself better and serve the people around me better.
Oh, beautiful. Nice. So it's your process, it sounds, to live in your true nature and purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, because I asked that question because, you were allowed to ask question. And when she asked question, it was so much information and, that came in that I was like, I don't know, I didn't prepare really, right? But then I was like, well, I'd like to know my true purpose here. What's my mission? What's this? What's that? And then, she was like, well, your mission is really, you can be anything really, but like it's to awaken the masses. It's to hold that frequency, the energy. She said, you're a higher being, and then you came down this plane to really help humanity to wake up. So.
And where does that fit on the spectrum, Pascal, of I must do all this to figure out what's wrong with me?
Yeah. Before I felt like that, I felt I didn't belong. I didn't, I didn't fit in. But now that I've been doing the work, it's like I don't need to do that kind of work. It's just like I feel like the people that will be attracted to me will come to me, and I don't need to reach out to people. So yeah, it's like I feel more like a magnet, the magnetic magnet. That's how I feel. I don't push to call people, but it's kind of weird now that like people, I had a lot of difference for the last 3 years, and then like now people are reaching out back to me, and it's really strange to me. And I'm like, well, you hated me like before, and then like now you're coming back to me. I'm like, okay,
Lovely.
yeah.
Sounds like you're in a place of bliss, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. I said to Jessie, I barely slept last night, and they say, well, she said that like the healing will happen within 72 hours. It can take to like 3 days, and then like, one thing that she was really interesting. She said, it seems like your work is like a vacation. And I'm like, okay.
All right.
Like I really feel like it's kind of a vacation because it's really easy, and then like I can learn all day. And she said that is really good, because she said I don't know if you guys know like the Pleiades.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Pleiades. She said like you're related to the Tagetan. So you're multi-dimensional being, and because you work so much at night that you need that little vacation during the day. And I was like, what? So I want to do like, I want to really push my lucid dream, my astral travel, because I've been practicing that for a bit, but with a little bit of success. But I really want to dive into it and see, maybe I'll see the ship. I don't know. Like I have no idea, but
Thank you for sharing, Pascal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that allowing, I sense you allowing and the letting go and the flowing in that. So the expectation one of creator. And then that my word for today is going to be expectation.
Nice.
Yeah, I hear tons of your creator nature in what you just shared here. Wow. And a lot of those, I don't know if we call them skills or not, but it's, these innate power abilities that you have are being kind of developed in the practice of them. So you talked about astral travel and and things like that. There's a whole bunch of them that are coming clear to you, and they're being developed right now. And it's not really anything that you're intending, but it's kind of coming from a deep heart place to develop those and to to equip yourself for what's coming to you. I'm very excited for you, Pascal. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, thank Greg.
Yeah. And I've known for some time that you're a Pleiadian too, but that didn't come up in the conversation. But I'm pretty sure that that pretty much everybody in this group that's doing this work are old souls. They're people who have, or souls who have been around the block a number of times on the earth. And in fact, I'll go next to share this because it's really kind of fits in with what you just said, Pascal. The words I'm getting are converging and concentrated, like concentrating. It's like these innate energies are coming out and they're concentrating. They're kind of converging into one place, and it's like I feel like the energy is happening kind of inside my heart. Like I feel it like it's it's building up concentration in my heart. That's what it feels like to me, and I've noticed that especially the last week. And it's around true nature, but it's and truth, like capital T truth, and it's about a place in it's about how my soul individually fits into this massive movement that's happening globally at the moment. And that's true for you, it's true for Jesse, true for Lynn, true for a lot of other people that are coming around too. And hi, Allie, I want to welcome you today. So
hi,
Allie,
guys.
since you're here, I'm going to invite you to come and share what's going on here. Thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me. My word for today has to be patience. It's been the longest day today. I feel like time has slowed today. It's been a long day. It's been a good day though. So how is everyone? Have we got some words?
Well, patience is part of it. Because what's kind of interesting is it's not it's like everything's building momentum. And it's concentrating in individual people right now. It's kind of interesting what's happening. And the thing is, it's not time to be proactive. It's time to allow everything to concentrate.
Okay.
And so patience is a huge part of that. Like it's there's a divine timing element here that's kind of driving everything right now. 2023 is going to be a major transitional year.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I really am. I don't have much patience. My husband will tell you that. He'll say that's one thing I don't have many of. But I try. I'm getting better. I just like things to be done when I want. Yeah, patience.
Yeah, yeah,
And teenagers and toddlers.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Greg, can I ask you to expand on when you say it's not the time to be proactive? What are you referring to? What constitutes proactive in that statement?
Um, yeah, let me clarify is like, in fact, I heard somebody talk about a week ago and said we need to redefine what action actually is, and proaction. And this is kind of a general humanity thing that's happened over the last few hundred years, but because the masculine energy on the planet has been out of control for a long, long time. In the human gene pool and DNA, there's more and more people on the planet whose primary motivation is to actually be instead of do. 30 years ago, it was about 60-40. Now it's getting to be more like 70-30. And as more and more people are born, more and more are their energetic profile is to wait and to be. But society is totally the other direction. That it's like, take action and and plow forward and be a bulldozer and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
you can be proactive and not have the energy of what you described there. So just to clear that up.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, it depends. It depends where the impulse to act comes from. Like most.
Well, when there's that masculine energy, you feel like it's a push, don't you? You feel like it's a force.
Right.
However, if we're not acting, if we're not taking aligned action, we're not complete in our creation, right? So
right.
Just for my own consciousness, when we say not to be proactive, but yes, to be proactive in the being, coming from the being, you can be as proactive as you like.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, when you're in gestation, okay, what you're waiting for is the impulse. Okay, you're waiting for, well, let's put it this way, and you've given birth to a few babies, so you'll understand this. Okay, the creation thing is like, it's feminine energy, but the birth pains are masculine energy. So it's like, stuff is gestating right now, and that's where like the words concentration and those words that I use today are all about the gestation period. Okay, and you're waiting for a time to pull the trigger. So when you get labor pains, then it's time. That's the initiation. That's the proactivity. That's the signal that it's time.
I don't know if I could compare labor pains to the indication and the signal to take action on your dreams. Excuse
No,
me.
but that's a good.
You want a
No,
very
I know, but that's a metaphor. I mean, it's a signal. It's a signal that what you have been birthing is ready to be born.
Oh. Mm.
And that's masculine energy, like when to pull the trigger, when to emerge. And what was interesting is that it was the masculine energy that started the creative process in the first place.
Yeah, I think the masculine energy being referred to here is quite different to the masculine energy you speak of, how the universe has been operating for the past.
Yeah.
However, quite different.
Very, very different.
Mm.
And this is personal experience talking, because I've lived most of my life trying to create from a masculine energy and an achievement orientation, a drivenness. And so what has happened is my my creative sense, although I achieved a lot, all of it was flat.
And I'm
Like
wondering
it lacked power and intensity.
What's coming to my mind, Craig, is then differentiating the difference between what is the masculine, the universal masculine energy, as opposed to the masculine energy driven by the ego mind.
Yes, exactly. That's the difference. Because the source of it tends to be, like on the earth right now, the source of it tends to be like the masculine energy, that it's become very dark and imbalanced and one-sided, patriarchal, dominant. That's not, and it's taken over basically. It's become part of the self-conscious psyche.
Or said another word, it's the structure of society.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And so ultimately, no matter what people did prior to loving their life, being a true nature, a powerful creator, living their true nature and purpose, to core for as a creator, they have to do the opposite of what they thought they had to do.
You have to learn to allow the other side in.
So people that didn't take the action, that sat, procrastinated, all of that, they have to take the action. And those that masculine pushed it to achieve, to exceed, like Craig, we have to do the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a one fit all for everyone.
No, it's
but
not.
It's an awareness of where the hell you are.
Totally. And it's definitely not black and white in that either.
No, it's not.
There's no script. There's no script. There's no black and white and all of that. So
a lot of I don't know.
without a doubt. And so today is day 75. It's listening to your expanding silence.
Mm-hmm.
And you said if you like a skill is required for that. It's a skill of listening and the skill of silence.
And it's a very creative mode.
Right. Creating is going to expand. So we're listening for the sound that is expanding. We're listening for the image, the feeling, whatever our senses are telling us that are expanding. Listening to your silence expand. And so Pascal was true nature and purpose. Lynn was expectations. Craig was concentrate. And what's the other one, Craig?
Convergence.
Convergence, yeah.
Converging. Yeah.
Now he was in the patience today. And Mona and Marcia are left to be invited in.
Good morning. If I may, I'd like to present my word of the day. My word of the day is, it's not expectation, but I'm very excited about the next part of my journey. So my word for today would be excitement.
Mm.
Thank you, Mona. Excitement. Thank you. Marcia, would you like the space to share this morning? If not, that's fine too.
Sure. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And I think, excuse me, my word is possibilities this morning. And which, you know, it goes with Mona's excitement and it goes with Ali's patience. I've been wrestling with a relationship issue with someone in the magnetic mind community. And I haven't reached a place of where I can be at peace about where saying my truth, but in a way that is not, the basis is not anger. And I always work from the premise that, and yet I had in my dream, a dream I had last night, I did respond angrily to someone, and I'm going, that felt good to just stand there. So
I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it's funny because it's natural and human to to have that emotion and acknowledge it and not feel, and we don't have to feel guilty. we're made to feel guilty about having angry emotions towards people. That's not appropriate.
Yeah, interesting.
So
Thank you, Mona.
sorry.
No, thank you, Mona.
Yeah, interesting. So what am I going to do with this?
Well, first of all, what do you do then? What's the first thing to do?
go, yeah, go into super conscious, and
Okay. Which I don't know gets you there.
well, it's the silence, and it's connecting. That I know now what I need to say to her, because actually she was my coach for a while, so it's really an interesting situation.
Yeah, those are.
Yes. And I'm learning that someone can be very gifted at connecting to the superconscious, but very immature in their emotions, and handling their emotions in a way that doesn't push the other person away. And that's always been my objective, and is not. Araya Mountain Dreamer has written a number of books, and she talks about the dance and the dream, and about not creating a me and they, a we and they, or an I and they, but actually that we truly are part of each other. And so to always acknowledge that, and that we're co-creators. Now that's from Magnetic Mind. So I have to see how I co-created that situation, but it doesn't excuse her actions towards me. And believe it or not, it took a while to come to that place. And so I can speak my truth of I didn't like how she treated me, and that she doesn't care about that. And then the rest is for her to process. But when you give someone else the power of driving to a common location and then rooming with them, you find out the other aspects of their personality. And
Well, yeah, there's two responsibilities always in a conversation.
yeah.
And what I haven't heard is how you want it.
Well, I just want to speak my piece, and that I will do. And it'll be, I won't do face to face, because she is shutting me down completely. So it'll be just through Instagram. And actually, I mean, I finally, I've come to the place where, yeah, and the dream was significant. So I can, do you guys struggle with anger? What you do with anger? Okay, everybody does.
Hey, Marcia,
Yes.
I learned some self-awareness questions recently about when you get triggered by a really strong emotion. your ego, some part of your personality is being triggered. And one of the things that shows up is what part is being triggered? Is it, or have you been like emotionally hurt? And is what they say true? That type of thing. And it's kind of working from the bottom up a little bit. But when you run into that and you ask yourself some of those questions, it helps you slow down a little bit. Yeah, it helps you just slow down a little bit and be aware of what part of you is being triggered. Am I comparing myself to somebody? And we know that we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to somebody. Or is there an attachment that's being triggered here? And is that attachment serving me? That type of stuff. Because in the end, I think it's kind of our stuff, and it's just how we respond or don't respond or stuff like that.
Well, one of the things that I've learned through this is to stand in my power. And I'm still wobbling at that. And not always think that, to not and to not have so much admiration for someone else, but to realize that I am a powerful creator as well. And so, I created a situation where I have to stand up to someone.
That can be kind of scary if you're not used to doing that and speaking for yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, it can be, yeah, it can be very stressful.
It's interesting because your name keeps coming up in the chats, in the different processes, and I'm going, okay, I got to get uncharged with this, and it's speaking my truth.
What process do you feel like would be the best approach to deal with a charged emotion before you go into this conversation? Or is that a choice that you have on your table?
I hadn't thought about that. Are you suggesting one? For me, it's I think I've lived through it. I've written this. I've written what in my mind. I've done it so many times over, and I think this person constantly identifies themselves as a victim, and that's I'm actually at peace about it, or I couldn't talk about it. I'm ready to be done with this and to go back to creating and go back to possibilities.
Yeah, thank you, Marcia. I just got an impulse to speak up here. Here's what I'm getting for you.
Okay.
Allow your superconscious to examine your anger.
Mhm.
And there's a big question mark in that. It's the I don't know part. You know, I don't know what this is. I don't know what its root is. I don't know where it comes from. And instead of looking for a process or some way to fix it or some way to equalize it, it's there for a reason, and that reason is around learning.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's not like a lesson that you have to learn. That's not it. But it's a matter of learning what that anger is, because there's a gift in it for you.
Mhm.
There's power in that anger. There's passion in it. And that's part of your root power. So what the learning is a matter of harnessing that power and consciously working with it in a way that changes your whole life, actually.
Interesting.
And that anger's been suppressed for you for a long time.
Mhm.
And I know this because this is true for me as well, but that anger's been suppressed for a long time. And it's in your heart, and it really wants you to learn how to express it in a way that's beneficial to yourself and everyone around you.
Mhm.
And that's there for you.
You know, I just realized that I've been angry about Jim's condition, his illness, and how it's changed our lives. And then I keep thinking that he needs to find meaning to talk with his body. But I've also been frustrated with it and angry. It's it's changed our whole way of being, and I've always been so active, and he's now almost in constant pain. And I know that superconscious, you know, I don't know how to, he, superconscious and magnetic mind is just my thing. He hears me doing my core 4. This is the artwork that comes from it. But yeah, I never realized that I was just angry at the situation. I have been squelching a lot of anger. Well, interesting.
Yeah, you might find that in some way it might be time to bring him into the conversation, into your super conscious conversation. I'm just throwing that out there as a suggestion. But as you examine that anger and where like you just notice that you're angry with the situation,
Yeah.
and that affects him too. And
He is too.
maybe there's something huge around your whole, yeah, exactly. Maybe that's something around your whole relational, your whole relational dynamic. That's a gift in that for you, for both of you. Without judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, life is no promises and has no promises. And what Joe shared the other day of the interview with Michael or Christian
Yeah.
was so revealing that the greatest learning that his soul had, or that was through a life that was extremely painful.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and he chose to come back because there was one more piece of his soul's development, maturation around fear.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's always better if Jim comes up with these things on his own than me. I'll have to figure out how to introduce that.
Hey,
You and
Marcia,
Jim in the super conscious.
Yes, Pascal.
I just want to say, love, 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 love your story because it really resonated with me.
Yes.
And I did examine my anger, and it might resonate with you, it might not, I'm not sure, but my anger, and just put a background there, like my zodiac sign is Scorpio. So a Scorpio store a lot of emotion in his tail, and then when it becomes really deadly, he strikes. And that's what I've been doing all my life. And it doesn't happen very often. I'm not a very angry person, but I store a lot of angry feeling in myself. And for me, when I explore being angry, it came from not able to speak my truth. And when I start doing that, like I felt a huge release in my heart.
Mm.
So
I keep
I don't know.
love
Sorry?
myself. I keep forgetting to love myself.
Yeah, and what I hear from you when you said like, "Oh, I want to speak my piece," and like that's me. That's exactly me. you know, like now I want to, you know, like I always rely on people that have like a lot of knowledge. Like you said, like your the coach was really good with the super conscious and like reading the field and whatnot. And like that's why I relied to before. I was just always like, oh, who's the most skilled?
Yeah.
Like in the society eyes. But then when I go deeper, I'm like, they don't have much meaning. They don't know how to really use it in a proper way. So yeah, I don't know if it resonates with you, but like, you know, I would say, and then you said like, well, you know, if I want to, I'll speak my truth, but you know, I'll just do it like quietly because I don't want to be pushed around, whatever, or like dumbed down. So, I mean, it's up to you. But I'd say in my experience, when I've done that, there's still anger in me. And I'm like, I'm not truly satisfied with what I've done. So, and when I went full in, it was hard, but at the end, it was extremely worth it. So I
Yes,
just want to share that.
thank you. That's what I'm wearing now. Yeah, it's yeah, speaking your truth, and I mean that can be met. That can have a perspective of so many different ways, but there, and within this is force versus power. You can be forceful. I mean, the same energy that created circumstances was forceful, not being in their power, because power is not, it's not a harsh or hard energy. And so being in your power is actually speaking from your heart. When you're angry, when something comes up with anger, it is a message that you, and the important is not to just fly off the wheel. You know, work a lot on that, but yeah, just a peaceful power. So I had no idea that I would be the center of the conversation for a while. This has been really, really pleasant. Thank you.
Well, Marcia, I just saw the tiger inside of you.
Oh, tiger, huh?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Is it a Bengal tiger? That Bengals are, I used to live in Cincinnati, and there was I'm not a sports fan, but there was the Bengals, just the mascot of one of them.
Yeah, I just saw that very clearly. It's really funny. Yeah. I know you don't think of yourself as a tiger, but you are.
My
So
astrological sign.
it'll be very beneficial to explore this anger. Yeah.
Okay. The power of the pounce.
Yeah.
Damn it, pounce.
Exactly. And knowing when to pounce. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yes, Annette is here. I'd love to Annette to come in and share her word and her wonder.
So this morning, good morning, everybody. I've actually been listening to you guys live pretty well the whole time. And as I wrote in the chat, wow, what an incredible conversation. Pascal, I was just blown away by your information, and I would love to touch base with you just to find out a little bit more, because I was very intrigued in the information of your experience, just to hear more of it. And same with Craig, your conversation that followed thereafter, and Marcia. Just yeah, really, really, really good conversation. So OMG, I think is my word today, because I'm just observing. In my silence, I'm just listening and just impressed with what I am hearing. Curiosity as to finding out more. That is my word, OMG. Just listening to the silence. But there's just one thing, Marcia, that I did pick up, what resonated with me, if I may, when you were speaking, was the shock and awe that you had when Craig complimented you as far as being the tiger. And as I wrote, give yourself permission to be that tiger. But what resonated with me actually during the conversation, and that's one of the reasons why I signed in then, because I could at the time, was just to feel closer to you. And what I got was requiring the need to have permission to speak, to open up and speak, as if it is being monitored.
Oh, I do monitor my speech. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And giving yourself permission to speak fully rather than cutting yourself off.
Actually, that's what I'm doing now. I don't actually air my, what they call laundry, but
Yeah. But not having to reach out to somebody else to get their opinion either.
oh, yeah.
You did let that slip, and that confirmed it.
Yes.
It's not just information, not just monitoring it from within, but getting monitored, not necessarily monitored, but permission, allowance from somebody else, that you are allowed to go do something. You're allowed to have a voice. Not saying that your person doesn't permit that, but somewhere along the way, you may have had an experience where that wasn't permitted.
Yeah.
It's also connected to the anger. It's all in that same package, Marcia.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and anger isn't necessarily just rage. Anger is other emotions as well. We just sometimes don't know how to express those emotions, and they come out the same as rage because of frustration and other things. So, but hey, when somebody gives you a compliment, say thank you.
Yes.
Bathe in it. Yes, I am a tiger. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
I think she was so flabbergasted.
Yes. Yes.
In all fairness.
Yeah. No. But thank you for letting me share that with you in the group. That's, because when I come into the group and when I'm listening, I usually go into the space of innocence and just listen, see what comes up. And that's what I got. So you've got lots of good things to say, Marcia.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ali has joined the group after me. I'd like to invite Ali, if I may, to the group. And Ali, if you can share if you have a word today or any words of inspiration.
Hi guys. I did have a word. I had the word patience today. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, it is up above.
Yes, can.
I don't have a very good connection.
It's interesting. I'm learning to not have patience anymore, but just to take action and honor myself.
There's
I've just
different
been
kinds of
enjoying.
patience as well.
Okay.
Sometimes it's avoidance.
Oh, yes.
Jessie's comment was really good in the comments there. Let me just go back and see if I can read that. What did you say, Jess? We all have to learn the opposites. That's true. We all have to find that balance, don't we? Is there anyone that else needs welcome to the group?
I think everybody's in, Ellie.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, I'm just enjoying listening to everybody's.
All right, wonderful. So like coming in, wrapping this up is like, what was it that we appreciate about today? What did we learn? What did we explore? What did like the value? It's like this helps in our learning. This helps in our setting it in motion. Grounds it.
What I noticed that I want to share is that we have certain emotions that we've labeled as undesirable. And that's a judgment we make that's really hard on us. So part of my learning today is to take whatever shows up, whatever emotional stuff shows up or whatever resistance shows up, and just examine it kind of from a distance, if possible, and allow its value to be exposed.
I like that, Craig, where you just said, allow it to be exposed.
And allow an appropriate way. Yeah.
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 And sense, when you allow it to be exposed, sense where it is.
And an appropriate way to express it. Yeah. Yeah.
Andy, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, and when you sense it, identify where in your body you're feeling it and ask yourself, what do I need? What do I need because of this emotion that's shown up? What do I need right now? We don't ask ourselves, what do I need? You might just need a hug. You might need something completely different, but what do I need? That would be the action.
An opportunity for your adult self to actually meet that need.
And Jesse made a very poignant comment earlier about taking things personally. That's always been a challenge for me.
But at the same, I see where you're coming from, Marcia, and I would do that too, because it was a shame in not being perfect. That's why we would take it personally. Because personally, we think that we should be making everybody happy when we need to make ourselves happy, obviously, right? But we've just taken on that role. So we take things of other people personally. It's my dog howling in the back. It's starting to snow and he wants to go outside. But the sirens are going outside too. So when I put him outside, he howls. So we're in this sling of plus and minus right now. Door open, door closed, cable on, cable off.
Must be January in Ontario.
Yeah. Big flakes coming down and he wants out.
Oh, animals are so simple. I'd love, we can learn so much from them. Simple joy.
Yeah, so for me, the biggest learning curve is to not take things personally. And I found the quote of, I don't need to know, really, really helps to start changing that. And do it with the little things. I don't need to know this. I don't need to know that. And even though things happen at us, we do take those things personally. But in fact, it's more about the other person than about us.
Yes.
And it's just recognizing that it's more about them and their reaction. Unfortunately, we're caught in the line of fire and we're one of the casualties.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's trying not to take that part personally is really hard to overcome. Because I've been trained my entire life.
Yes. Yes. I think especially women, but we've all, society has molded our parents, everyone has passed on.
Yeah, it comes back to Craig's conversation about the masculine energy and the disproportion of how it's going. It used to be 60-40, 70-30. And when I say masculine energy, I'm not particularly to men, it's just masculine energy.
Yes.
Male and females, yeah.
Yeah, it's not gender specific at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so my learning is very similar to Annette. Don't take it personally, but also try to understand the other person, where it's coming from. Like if they're attack you and stuff, really understand the other person, like where that pattern is coming from. And that way you'll be able to yeah, you're not going to take things personally, but you'll be able to help the other person. And then yourself, if you feel that anger and whatnot, like any emotion that you might not like, you know, no judgment here, but recognize the pattern. So, and if you don't like that cycle, then you'll be able to break the cycle, because you'll be like, oh, well, every time, like, you know, my wife asks me to do dishes, I get really angry or something, right? So now you're like, oh, okay, well, like, how do I break this pattern, right? So maybe be a little bit more gentle on yourself and be like, dishes is not that bad, you know, like, or whatever. So yeah, that's my learning.
Actually, Pascal, I was raised very much to always try to understand the other person. And that, in some aspects, that takes the responsibility away from them to own, to own their own actions and words. When you do all of the understanding. And I think, and at least that the most important thing is to say what the experience, what we're experiencing. And I mean, this person just didn't care about my feelings at all. And that's the basis of relationships. Is that you respect one another and care about what you're doing or saying and how it's, I mean, but you can't. So then it's their responsibility to assess it, but you don't wait for them to agree unless you have a relationship that, you're going to be around them a lot.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the other piece I would add is, yeah, try to understand the other person to see where it's coming from. But for you, that helps you, like, for you to not take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if they choose to be helped, then you can offer your help. But, it's not about like forcing stuff down their throat, right? So, oh, you do this because like of your dad, or da da da, you're just like your dad. Like, nobody wants to hear that. Right? But that just help you to understand that, like, well, it's coming from them because of their dad or whatever. So it's not about me. Right? So it's more like an understanding of, like, it's their own stuff. I deal with my own stuff, they deal with their own stuff. And if they want help, then they can come to me, but I don't need to come to them.
Well, I feel complete. I really appreciate this time with everyone. Thank you all.
Love you,
Yeah.
Marsha.
Yeah, thank you, Marcia. Mona, I learned that parts of us stay silent when we need to speak our truth. I just wanted to share that with her from what she left. in that. And so it's like in the silence is where we hear this, where we feel this, where we sense this. And then what we want to, like what we do is notice the reaction that we want to do, but don't do it. Notice the reaction without reacting. Notice the
Yeah.
reaction without reacting. That's what's beautiful of the silence. And when we take it personal, it's like we hold on to that forever. And it's like, it was just in that moment, it was something that showed up that we both needed to learn, both needed to be aware of. And it's like, there it is. And it's all just in that moment. And as soon as it's addressed and gone, it's no longer there. But if we take it personal, we're going to hold on to it.
So that's
Personal, we're going to hold on to it.
yeah, so that's kind of similar also to I remember Hannah talking about something, and I did practice this as well. That sometimes, let's say you come home with an armload of groceries and you go to open up your door, you put the key in, you turn it, and then all of a sudden you feel this emotion inside you, maybe of frustration or anger. And you go into the house and you have this emotion of frustration or anger, and then you start speaking it. You take that emotion into your conversations when you enter the door. And people on the other end are wondering, why are you angry? You know, you just came home, we're happy to, why are you angry at us? But it's sensing, why am I getting, as soon as I touch my door handle, where's that coming from? Why am I feeling this way? And deal with it then, rather than carrying it in. And as we do in our silence, we can do in our wake as well. And I practice this because I noticed that. And I can remember as a kid walking home from school and then having this moment of being very angry and wanting an argument with somebody. And I would come home from school and pick a fight with my mom or my sibling just because I had that need to have an argument. It's dumb, absolutely dumb when I think about it. I didn't know what was happening, but I do remember this because it happened a couple of times. Because afterwards I'm thinking, why was I so angry? But at the time as a kid, I didn't understand it. But that stayed with me even as an adult. And it wasn't until Hannah spoke about this, like, oh yes, I do remember stuff like this. And when you're able to notice it with yourself, it's easier then to notice it with others and not take it personally, because you sense has nothing to do with me. I was able to harness my own. All I can do is set up a boundary that this person doesn't cross and trigger me to fight back, because that's maybe what they want. They're looking for a reaction of some sort. Now, naturally, if it's a positive one, yeah, let's celebrate. But we don't have to engage in the negative stuff.
Don't have to engage in the reaction
Yes.
itself.
Yes. Now, however, if they have
Yeah.
a positive thing that they're trying to tell you because they're excited and you don't react, that then has a negative reaction on the other end. So it's a little bit of a balance as well.
Right.
So we have to use our conscience and to assess, plus or minus, which way are we going to go? Cinderelle. Lovely lady Cinderelle has joined us. Are you available to share your word? Are you going to listen for a little bit, or what would you like to partake in?
The conversation is delicious.
Oh, Cinderelle, I was listening to the live before I signed on. It was fantastic. It was my word out, because of listening to the live for about the first 40 minutes or 45 minutes, was OMG.
What is the lie?
The live feed on YouTube. If you go to his channel on YouTube, and you click on the notification bell, when Jesse goes live, you get a notification saying he's gone live, and you can just open it up and just listen to it.
Oh,
There's times
okay.
where I can't log in and sit at my computer, so I'm able to do other things and still listen to the conversation. And then when I do have time and I can log in, then I do. But it still
Mm,
allows me to understand and hear the conversation and be part of the group when I may not physically be able to be at the computer.
okay. I'm with you now.
Yeah. There's always the replay. You can always watch the live replay as well. So
It's always such a beautiful perspective to resonate in. So someone had put in the chat about, oh, what's the job? Christian, about life before birth and understanding like where you came from and the duality and the truality of your being. And it just brought so much up for me. You know, that we choose to come here and take this assignment to participate in the, as someone would call it, the existential drama of life. Has anyone else listened to that video that was put in the chat?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it just it makes you like, well, it made me like kind of wonder what assignment did I choose to take on to be here. And it just kind of makes like everything that I've been through I see you, Jesse. I'll answer. It makes me feel like it's a cultivation of my beingness to exercise my experiences here on earth, to cultivate and explore the more that I actually am. And without having any context of all of this before, I, would go into church and what have you, and people would make such a thing about Jesus, but Jesus said, "What I've done, you will do more of." And it's like he came here as the
greater
story,
things.
yeah, greater. But he came here as an example as to the greatness that we've come from, that we are to, that we don't have to live in fear. We don't have to live in want, to live the words that are written in a way of victory and not in a way of victim. No matter what you were born into, to live in victory, because this is like I've said it before, it's like a rites of passage. And it's like, who do you choose to be? Do you choose from love and above, or do you choose from to react out of the negative charges? But it's like when you get aware to, no matter what's happening, to choose authentically from love and above. And it reminds me, I said, you want to kind of like give yourself credit and or say, well, where am I with all of this? I remember when my ex-husband had, finally revealed like all of this crap, to say, yeah, you wasn't crazy. This is what was going on. And I was in a stage of learning the Ho'oponopono prayer. And I was really resonating in that. And it's like, and I told him, I was like, I'm sorry. I love you. I forgive you. And I forgot the other statement. And but it's not just that I said it truly with all of my heart and all of my being. And also as a special education teacher, I've always like I had this very this perspective how people would always judge and limit them. And it's like, well, if you're having trouble with that kid and that's how they have to express themselves and be, and especially the ones with the emotional, outbursts, and they would come out, they would be mean and they would hurt other kids. And, I was like, if you're having trouble with the presence of this student, how much more difficult must it be for them to have to express themselves through that filter? You get to walk away from that kid. So with my ex-husband, it was like, if he was having that much trouble dealing in his own truth, in the presence of someone who showed him love, it was like how much difficult it must have been for him to live in the struggle of his own lies. And look at me and know that he was living in a lie with someone who showed love. And it was like, that perspective, all of that last night of listening to it, it helped me to understand that even though I feel like I give love, 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 it's like somebody said, nice people, it rains on the just and the unjust. And I was just like, like, God, what's up? I'm a good person. I think I strive in that manner. And I still don't end up with the glory or the sense of the expectation that, I get to have a good life, or what we consider a better life or a comfortable life. So, things just work out well. But yet in love, we have a stewardship and a responsibility to be aware and to not necessarily, we have to still be sharp so other people can be sharp too. You can't just let other people's stuff overwhelm you. Wow, I've said a lot, but this is what's been marinating with me like since I saw that. It's just such a beautiful perspective to know that this is but a passage of life, and we're really cultivating in such a way that we do live in love and above, and having to pierce into from this perspective of earth to live as our universal selves. And it's just, so much beautiful choice to experience. awareness is awesome. So when you do come home, when you were speaking, you talk about coming home and opening up that door. And I remember times like that. It's like, what's on the other side of this door? And this, and like, you know, do you shrink, or do you come in with your light, you know?
So good, Sindrell. Thank you.
Good morning.
I love. Good morning. Good morning. I love your wisdom. So thank you. And it's like the great question, like, what is your assignment? And it is like, what are people experiencing as they are exploring that aspect as a powerful creator now?
I'm still sitting at the table with the book open, marinating that. That's
Yeah.
a great thing to.
But I can, what I notice is that I would be impatient with it. That was a tendency of mine, knowing that my pattern was always to push it faster, harder, bigger. You know, I was the snowball type of thing. And if I got a hold of something that was good, I was going to make this snowball as big as I could, make as much money out of it as possible, blah, blah, blah. All taking care of my sabotaging pattern, right? All like covering it up, right? Feeding it. And every time that I thought I'd win, end up empty. And so it's like, eventually it's like, okay,
Wow,
that's
Jesse,
not
that's
working. That's not working. What next? And it is like that, as that assignment. And it's like, man, 3.5 years of letting that assignment unfold. And as it does, then it's like all of a sudden you get a little drip of something like, oh, wow, that was a big drip. That adds so much color to the direction I'm going. It adds more refinement. It gets tighter and tighter the more we're in it. But tighter and tighter means the direction, the opportunities get bigger and bigger when I stopped pushing it.
Yeah, exactly.
When I stopped forcing it, when I stopped having it have to go the way I thought it had to go.
Does that kind of go with stop and smell the roses along the way?
You bet. You bet. Enjoy the moment, the truth of now, compared to where you, with an eye on where you want to be. Creators, the powerful creators that we are, that we can choose to love our life, we can choose to be happy, we can choose to not take any situation personal and flow in the aspects of our life.
So you had asked me a question relative to like, what do I want with something? And I just resigned that I got an idea, but it's okay from where I am not to really know completely. I don't have to commit to knowing what I don't know.
That is so good. That is so good. Anytime that I have a timing issue like that, is like when or timing, I was like, do I need to act now?
Yeah.
And usually it's a yes or no. And so if it's not now, then I know it's later. And then so it's like, if it's later, it's like, just show the right time. Just let it go at that. So good, so good. Anyone else have anything they'd like to share about this morning?
Another thing I got from the video was you will come across, and I'll express it in my best own words. You'll come across spirit, either guides or participants, your tribe, so to speak. And it may be one person or many people that your vibration and energy resonate with. You could be like in a grocery store and you'll feel like that energy. And a lot of people will deduce that to like a sexual type of attraction, but it's not always, only because it's such an exhilarating connection to connect with something or somebody that you don't know. And he talked about the telepathic energy connection of communicating. But then you'll also have what we have here. Look how the universe has brought us like all to this point in place. I just think it's freaking awesome to know all of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're a bunch of old souls getting together. Finally.
Where you been all my
many kicks at the can. Well, everything up to this point is preparation and practice, Sindrell.
practice being,
there's so much divine intention that just unfolds, and the timing's impeccable. It's unbelievable. It's like we spread out and did our things, and then when the time was right, we come together, and and in a spirit of co-creation, right? So it's like, whoa.
Yes, it is. And like the fact that we can gather, we can share our authentic truth of how we are in the moment. We are vulnerable and open to share that because there's no judgment. And that is what people want to be able to do. They are yearning for that type of place that they feel they can be heard. They can express, they can vent, they can get it out. And it is all a version of letting it go. And that is the transition that's happening. And there's so many transitions happening. All of it. Well, I am complete. So I thank all of you.
Thank you, Jesse. I really enjoyed the morning. I'm going to scatter. I'm complete.
Let's scatter. Thank you.
Thank you, Nettie, for your beautiful voice.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Nettie. Take care. Have a great day. Pascal, Craig, Sindrell, and all those that were here this morning, all that listened, like, thank you. Be in your power today.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Good Friday to
You
you
too,
all.
Jesse.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. Love
We'll
and
see you tomorrow.
hugs.
Okay, bye guys. Great day.
Okay.